So now we'll discuss chapter 2 under module 3, that is optical sources, LED. So what is LED? So LED stands for light emitting diode. So in LED, we are giving importance to conventional PN junction called as homojunction. The electron hole recombination occurs in relatively wide layer equal to 10 micrometer in conventional PN junction. As the carriers are not confined to the immediate vicinity of junction, hence high current densities cannot be realized. The carrier confinement problem cannot be resolved in other cases, whereas with respect to PN junction, it can be resolved by sandwiching a thin layer of zero point 0.1 micrometer between P-type and N-type layers. The middle layer may or may not be doped. The carrier confinement occurs due to the band gap discontinuity of the junction. Such a junction is called heterojunction, and the device is called double heterostructure. Actually, in any optical communication system, whenever the bitrate requirement and optical power requirement are high, LEDs are best suitable optical source. Now let us discuss double heterojunction. In order to achieve efficient confinement of emitted radiation, double heterojunction, which are used in LED structure, the heterojunction is a junction formed by dissimilar semiconductors. Double heterojunction is formed by two different semiconductors on each side of active region, which is shown in figure 3.1.1 in the next page. So in the figure, that is this one. So in the figure, the cross-hatched regions represent the energy levels of free charge. Recombination occurs only in active IN-GaAsP layer. The two materials have different band gap energies and different refractive indices. The changes in band gap energies create potential barrier for both holes and electrons. The free charges can recombine only in narrow, well-defined active layer side. A DH structure will confine both hole and electrons to a narrow active layer. Under forward bias, there will be a large number of carriers injected into active region where they are efficiently reconfined or confined. Carrier recombination occurs in small active region, so leading to an efficient device. Another advantage of DH structure is that the active region has a higher refractive index than the materials on either side. Hence, light emission occurs in an optical waveguide, which serves to narrow the output beam. So now let us discuss the different commonly our main LED configurations. So at present there are two main types of LEDs used in optical fiber links. First one is surface emitting LED and second one is edge emitting LED. Both devices used as a DH structure to constrain the carriers and the light to an active layer. Surface emitting LEDs. In surface emitting LEDs, the plane of active light emitting region is oriented perpendicularly to the axis of the fiber. A DH diode is grown on an N-type substrate at the top of the diode as shown in the figure 3.12. A circular well is etched through the substrate of the device. A fiber is then connected to accept the emitted light. At the back of device is a gold heatsink. The current flows through the P-type material and forms the small circular active region, resulting in the intense beam of light. So with respect to this case, diameter of circular active area equal to 50 micrometer, thickness of circular active area equal to 2.5 micrometer, current density equal to 2000 A by centimeter square, half power. A is nothing but ampere. Emission pattern equal to isotropic 120-degree beam width. The isotropic emission pattern from surface emitting LED is of Lombardian pattern. In Lombardian pattern, the emitting surface is uniformly bright, but its projected area diminishes as cos theta. That is, theta is the angle between the viewing direction and the normal to the surface, as shown in the figure 3.1.3. The beam intensity is maximum along the normal. The power is reduced to 50% of its peak when theta equals 60 degree. Therefore, the total half power beam width is 120 degree. The radiation pattern decides the coupling efficiency of LED. Edge emitting LEDs or ELEDs. In order to reduce the losses caused by absorption in the active layer and to make the beam more directional, the light is collected from the edge of the LED. Such a device is known as edge emitting LED or ELED. It consists of an active junction region, which is the source of incoherent light, and two guiding layers. The refractive index of guiding layers is lower than active region but higher than outer surrounding material. Thus, a waveguide channel is formed and optical radiation is directed into the fiber. The structure of ELED is shown in figure 3.1.4. Edge emitters emission pattern is more concentrated or directional, providing improved coupling efficiency. The beam is Lambert-Stien in the plane parallel to the junction, but diverges more slowly in the plane perpendicular to the junction. In this plane, the beam divergence is limited. In the parallel plane, there is no beam confinement and the radiation is Lambert-Stien. To maximize the useful output power, a reflector may be placed at the end of the diode opposite to the emitting edge. So figure 3.1.5 shows radiation from ELED. These are the features of ELED. First feature is linear relationship between optical output and current. Second feature is spectral width is 25 to 400 nanometer for lambda equal to zero point 0.8 micrometer to zero point 0.9 micrometer. Modulation bandwidth is much large. Next feature is it is not affected by catastrophic gradation mechanisms, hence are more reliable. ELEDs have better coupling efficiency than surface emitter. ELEDs are temperature sensitive. So if you take usage of LEDs are suitable for short range, narrow and medium bandwidth sinks. It is suitable for digital systems up to 140 megabits per second. It is also suitable for long distance analog links. Next topic is light source materials. The spontaneous emission due to carrier recombination is called electroluminescence. To encourage electroluminescence, it is necessary to select as appropriate semiconductor material. The semiconductors, depending on energy band gap, can be categorized into first one, direct band gap semiconductors, second one, indirect band gap semiconductors. Some commonly used band gap semiconductors are shown in the figure, are shown in the following table. So semiconductor GAS, GASB, LN, INAS, INSB, silicon, germanium, GFP. So energy band gap in electron volt is given with respect to each semiconductor material. Even recombination is given. Direct band gap semiconductors are most useful for this purpose. In direct band gap semiconductors, the electrons and holes on either side of band gap have same value of crystal momentum. Hence, direct recombination is possible. The recombination occurs within 10 to 8, 10.8 to 10.10 seconds. In indirect band gap semiconductors, the maximum and minimum energies occur at different values of crystal momentum. The recombination in these semiconductors is quite slow, that is 10.10, 10.3 seconds. The active layer semiconductor material must have a direct band gap. In direct band gap semiconductor, electrons and holes can recombine directly without the need of third particle to conserve momentum. In these materials, the optical radiation is sufficiently high. These materials are compounds of group 3 elements and group 5 elements. Some tertiary alloys GALAs are also used. Emission spectrum of GA1-X LXAS LED is shown in the figure 3.1.6. It is output power versus wavelength. The peak output power is obtained at 810 nanometer. The width of emission spectrum at half power 0.5 is referred as full width of maximum FWHM spectral width. For the given LED, full width of maximum is 36 nanometer as shown in the figure. The fundamental quantum mechanical relationship between gap energy E and frequency V is given as E equal to H into V, E equal to H into C by lambda, or lambda equal to H into C by E, where E is energy in joules and lambda is wavelength in meters. Expressing the gap energy, that is E suffix G, in electron volts and lambda in micrometers for this application. So lambda in micrometer is equal to 1.24 by Eg in electron volts. Different materials and alloys have different band gap energies. The band gap energy Eg can be controlled by two compositional parameters X and Y within direct band gap region. The quaternary alloy IN1-X GAX ASY P1-Y is the principal material used in such LEDs. Two expressions relating to EG and X comma Y are EG equal to 1.424 plus 1.266x plus 0.266x square and EG equal to 1.35 minus 0.72 into Y plus 0.12 into Y square. Quantum efficiency and power. The internal quantum efficiency eta int is defined as a ratio of radiative combination rate to the total recombination rate. That is eta int equal to RT by RR by RR plus RNR, where RR is radiative recombination rate, RNR is non-radiative recombination rate. If N are the excess carriers, then the radiative lifetime is given by tau R equal to N by RR. Non-radiative lifetime is given by tau NR equal to N by RNR. The internal quantum efficiency is given by N int equal to 1 by 1 plus R NR by RR. N int equal to 1 divided by 1 plus tau R by tau NR. The recombination time of carriers in active region is tau. It is also known as bulk recombination lifetime. 1 by tau equal to 1 by tau R plus 1 by tau NR. Therefore, internal quantum efficiency is given as N int equal to tau by tau R. RR equal to RNR equal to 1 by Q. N int equal to RR by 1 by Q. RR equal to N into 1 by Q. Optical power generated internally in LED is given as P int equal to RR into H into V, where RR is, we already know in the above equation it is there, RR is N int or neta int into 1 by Q. So P int equal to our power generated internally in LED equal to the efficiency int into 1 by Q into H into V, or it can be written as N int into H into C into I by Q lambda. So in the previous equation, N int is equal to, the second equation, N int equal to RR divided by I by Q, or RR equal to N int into I by Q. So P int equal to N int into H into C into I by Q lambda. Not all internally generated photons will available from output of device. The external quantum efficiency is used to calculate the emitted power. The external quantum efficiency is defined as the ratio of photons emitted from LED to the number of photons generated internally. It is given by equation n next equal to 1 divided by n plus n into n plus 1 square. The optical output power emitted from LED is given as P equal to n next dot P int, P equal to 1 divided by n plus n into n plus 1 square into P int. So let us discuss an example. The radiative and non-radiative recombination lifetimes of minority carriers in the active region of a double heterojunction LED are 60 nanoseconds and 19 nanoseconds respectively. Determine the total carrier recombination lifetime and optical power generated internally if the peak emission wavelength is 870 nanometer and the drive current is 40 milliamps. So solution, given lambda equal to 870 nanometer or 0.87 into 10 power minus 6 meter, tau R equal to 60 nanoseconds, tau NR equal to 90 nanoseconds, current equal to 40 milliamps or 0.04 amps. Let us calculate total carrier recombination lifetime. So we know that 1 by tau equal to 1 by tau R plus 1 by tau into NR, or 1 by tau equal to 1 by 60 plus 1 by 90, or 1 by tau equal to 150 by 5400. So next one is we have to calculate internal optical power. Internal optical power is given by internal efficiency into H into C into I by Q into, I'll repeat, internal power is equal to neta int into H into C into I by Q lambda, or it can be written as P int equal to tau by tau R into HCI by Q lambda. After substituting the values, we are getting P int equal to 34.22 milliwatts. Advantages of LED are simple design, ease of manufacture, simple system integration, low cost and high reliability. Disadvantages of LED are: first one, refraction of light at semiconductor or air interface. The average lifetime of Radiative recombination is only a few seconds, few nanoseconds. Therefore, modulation bandwidth is limited to only few hundred megahertz. Low coupling efficiency, large chromatic dispersion,